Let's jump to running back love-hate now.
Also, just keep an eye on the Kyler Murray news. We sort of got off the rails on that one, too.
Yeah.
But just, we'll see if he practices today. But just have a contingency plan in case this hamstring injury for Kyler gets worse.
Taika Waititi is from New Zealand. That's why I didn't know who he was.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I was told in my ear that he was from Australia.
He's Australian, yeah. He directed
So, let me get this straight. You know what? Hey, Brian Rubin, where are you? Where's Brian Rubin? Come back, all's forgiven. Because Stephen D'Agostino's producing today's show.
Yeah.
And Stephen, first off, put a 4.5-minute clip of Traylon Burks that you can't hear on the show, right? And then he gets in my ear and tells me that, there's an Australian that who's right.
Taika Waititi.
By the way, he's saying Thor is Australian. I don't think Thor is Australian.
No, he is.
The superhero Thor is Australian?
Yeah, Hemsworth. He went to my high school.
I understand
the
actor is Australian.
Yeah,
I am
the
saying
character of Thor. I'm not sure it's of this Earth. Is he of planet Earth?
No, he's not from exactly. That's my point.
Okay.
That's my point. It doesn't count that the actor's from Australia.
Okay.
Right?
Doesn't
right?
it?
I mean, no.
You know
what I mean?
High with me.
No, I mean, do we consider Ant-Man a Canadian superhero? Because isn't Paul Rudd from Canada? I think he might be. I don't know. But no.
Go watch
Thor. No, Thor is from another planet.
Yeah. Taika Waititi directed Jojo Rabbit, which is one of my favorite films in the past 5 years.
I believe he won the
Ripping
Oscar
film.
for that,
yeah.
right? I know he's nominated. He won the Oscar for it. Very talented. Yeah. He voices Korg in the MCU. Yeah. Like me, he is a part of the MCU, unlike you, because you were not a part of the MCU. I'm just saying, Thor is a part of the MCU, Ant-Man, me. It's just there's a whole Korg, there's all of us.
Also like me, Taika Waititi.
None of us are Australian.
Taika Waititi could not tackle Dameon Pierce.
This is factually
correct. And Dameon Pierce is on your love list this week.
Yeah. He is. Look, the workload for Dameon Pierce, what's great is much like the Texans, much like the Atlanta Falcons, Houston doesn't care what the score is. They're going to run the ball. Dameon Pierce has had at least 20 touches and over 100 yards from scrimmage in 5 of the last 6 games. 4 different games with a double-digit target share. This didn't happen last week, but for the most part, he's been more involved in the passing game than you think. And so you're like, look, this is a guy that's had at least 20 touches in 5 of the past 6, as I've said. Well, get this. Running backs that get at least 15 touches against the New York Football Giants this year, averaging 91 scrimmage yards per game. Giants give up 6.1 yards per carry to opposing running backs over the last 4 weeks. They're 26th against the run in that time frame here. Dameon Pierce is a top 8 play for me this week. I don't care that the Giants are coming off the bye. I don't care that they're playing a little bit better. I don't care what the score is. Dameon Pierce is all that and a bag of Vegemite.
A bag of Vegemite. You can't put that in bags, Matthew Barry. It's very much a glass product, the Vegemite.
You can put anything in a bag.
That's true. Technically, you can. You've got me there.
I mean, right, how does Vegemite come? If I wanted to go to a store and buy Vegemite, how would it come?
Yeah, it would be in a glass container.
Exactly. And could I put that glass container into a bag?
You could. Okay, there you go.
I mean, just at some point, put up a fight.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm just asking you, because at this point, I'm just knocking stuff down. At some point, make me shoot a jumper. Okay. I can't just keep dunking on you. That's all I'm asking. Make it a fight.
Well,
make it interesting for me here.
Jerry Jones.
At some point, I understand I'm a master debater, but at some point, Jay Croucher, I'm begging you over here. Give me something to work with here. Make me wake up. Make me try. Make me at least do a crossover dribble or something. Yeah. That's all I'm asking.
Get in your bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerry Jones has been trying to put Tony Pollard in a bag and throw him out for the whole of his entire career, really. But he's still on your love list, even with Ezekiel Elliott trending in the right direction.
He's had 5 different games this year with 12 or more touches, okay? In those 5 games, he's averaging 16.8 fantasy points per game. He's averaging 102 yards from scrimmage. And think about this game against the Green Bay Packers. 3rd most rushing yards per game to running backs this season. They've given up 75 scrimmage yards to a running back 11 different times this year, and 3 different times, Jay Croucher, Green Bay has allowed over 75 yards from scrimmage to multiple running backs in the same game. That's a way of saying that both Zeke and Pollard can get theirs. Packers actually over the last month, they're 5th against the pass. The secondary's actually been pretty good, but they're 29th against the run. Rashawn Gary going down, that doesn't help either as well. So my expectation here is that it's as Zeke is getting back from the injury, I think Tony Pollard's performance the last time we saw the Cowboys has earned him a few more touches. Jerry Jones is still going to make Zeke a thing, right? It's not going to happen like I'm paying for Zeke, Zeke's going, right? It's like when you go to a bad movie and you're like, this is awful, but screw it. I paid $15 for a ticket. I bought this huge popcorn and soda and whatever. I'm $40 into this thing. I'm watching this crappy movie. I don't care.
Is he the first player in NFL history to get tenure? Zeke has got tenure. He's got tenure at the Dallas Cowboys. It's unbelievable.
1,000%. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that Pollard, I think, splits carries in a really good matchup in a game in which the Cowboys are favored by almost a touchdown. Right, to your point, 5-point favorites. So I think Pollard gets enough workload here to be a very viable start this week. I actually ranked him ahead of Ezekiel Elliott this week. Just so you know, he's my running back 16 as we head into Week 10.
I like it. All right, let's jump to Thursday Night Football. Glorious game of football tonight, which we'll talk about more for better or worse. But let's talk about Cordarrelle Patterson, Cord Pat, as some call him. He's on the love list.
By some, you mean you. Look, you have to be a little concerned because he didn't play a ton of snaps, right? He played 38% of the snaps last week. However, he still had a team-high 13 carries in his first game back. Look, it's going to be a committee in Atlanta. They want multiple guys to touch the ball. You see it there on your screen. Tyler Algier got the 10 rushing attempts. Caleb Huntley still got 7 totes, as it were. But Cordarrelle Patterson led the backfield with 13 rushing attempts. He got the 2 touchdowns, and I think that's important. They trust him at the goal line. They had 4 goal-to-go carries last week, the Falcons did. Cordarrelle Patterson got 3 of them. He's scored in 4 of the 5 games in which he's played this year, and this happened last year as well. He has a nose for the end zone. Arthur Smith trusts him around the end zone. What are they going to do, throw to Kyle Pitts? No, absolutely. God, absolutely not. No, they've got to hand off to Cordarrelle Patterson. It's a great matchup against the Carolina Panthers defense that's on a short week. Obviously, they rank bottom 5 in both rushing yards and rushing touchdowns allowed to opposing running backs this season. They just gave up, I don't know if you saw it, 5 touchdowns to Joe Mixon
I did say that.
last week, and now they're traveling back home on a short week here. So, Cordarrelle Patterson, my running back 18.
The run game has tenure in Atlanta. Let's quickly jump to some others receiving votes as we race through. Headlined by Jeff Wilson and then Deion Jackson, Rashad White, Jerick McKinnon. What do you think of these guys?
Yeah, I just think Wilson's half of this backfield in Miami. We want as much of the Dolphins' offense as we can get. Browns allow the 4th most fantasy points to opposing running backs this season. I think Wilson and Mostert both viable flexes. Deion Jackson should have that Nyheim Hines role. Jonathan Taylor returned to practice yesterday. We don't know what this offense is going to look like.
There's going to be a lot of running the ball.
That's what you would think, because there are other options to let Sam Ehlinger pass it, and he just doesn't look ready for prime time. Vegas is a bottom 12 run defense over the last 4 weeks. So Deion Jackson should at least get the Nyheim Hines role, which is about 7 touches. I think in a deeper league, he's a viable flex in PPR games as well. Rashad White, season high 11 touches last week. They're looking for offense in Tampa Bay. Seahawks are bottom 5 in terms of catches and receiving yards allowed to opposing running backs. It's almost a split now between Fournette and Rashad White. Again, I think he's a deeper league flex, as is McKinnon, who had a season-high 62% snap rate last week. He's led the backfield in snaps 4 straight weeks. It's still a 3-headed monster in Kansas City, but it's worth noting that the Jags have allowed the 2nd most receptions to opposing running backs this year. You can attack them that way. And so I think McKinnon, again, all these guys are sort of desperation flex types this week. I mean, again, they're all ranked in the 30s. Deion Jackson, Rashad White, Jerick McKinnon. But if you're desperate for a running back flex in a PPR league, these are guys that I think have plus matchups this week.
Okay, let's jump to Haight, one of the most volatile running backs in the league right now, DeAndre Swift.
He played 9 offensive snaps last week.
Yeah, that
9.
sounds low.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. He's had 2 touches inside the 10-yard line this entire season, right? 0 goal-to-go carries, right? It's not a great matchup against the Bears, who have allowed 30 receiving yards to a running back only twice this season. It needs to be up the middle against Chicago, because they're pretty good on the perimeter, although they've obviously had some losses to their defense at the trade deadline here. So Swift comes in at running back 26 for me. He's a hope for a touchdown flex, because we just don't know the volume is going to be there. I rank Jamal Williams ahead of him, which is something, obviously, love-hate is all about expectations. That is certainly not what we expected from DeAndre Swift when you drafted him, that he would be in flex territory behind Jamal Williams and getting less touches.
Yep, Jamal Williams has played so well too that I think even if Swift is healthy, he's not going to see the volume he did in the first couple of weeks. All right, let's go to Devin Singletary in the strangest game of the week because we don't know if Josh Allen is playing.
Yeah, no update yet on Josh Allen. We do know that we expect more Nyheim Hines in this game against Minnesota. Last 4 weeks, Vikings allowing under 55 rushing yards per game to opposing running backs. They allow under 3 yards per carry to opposing running backs during that stretch. They've been really good against the run so far this season. The way to attack them is in the secondary, where they're 30th against the pass over the last 4 weeks. And so Devin Singletary, who now has single-digit fantasy points in 3 of the last 4, and has only 2 touches inside the 10-yard line since week 4. Actually, weirdly, his stock might go up if Josh Allen is to miss because Case Keenum ain't going to run like Josh Allen, and so they may need to lean on Devin Singletary in the run game more in this game here. But, you know, in a game in which the Bills are favored, though not nearly as much as they would be if we knew for sure that Josh Allen was starting, Singletary is merely just a flex play for me, running back 23. He's the lead running back on a very good offense, and yet he's not getting the work as much as we love. If there's a positive here, it's that even if Allen plays, maybe they're more conservative with him because they're worried about re-injury. And also, I think the Vikings keep this somewhat close. And generally speaking this year, in games in which it's been close, Singletary's been more productive than in the blowouts.
Yep, bad weather in Buffalo as well, which will help that too. Line is down to 3.5. The Bills still favored on BetMGM. Let's go and close out with Melvin Gordon, who goes up this week against Australia's #1 superhero, the Tennessee Titans rushing defense.
Yeah, none of that makes sense, other than the fact that the Titans are good against the run, right? Correct. Because there's nothing Australian about the Titans. You can't take an entire team.
I'm Australian and I love the Titans rushing defense. It does me proud.
So that's the Kevin Bacon game like stretch, like you're 7 removed from that one. Here's what I will also tell you: Melvin Gordon removed from fantasy value, right? Yeah. I mean, like he's had 2 games this year with more than 55 total yards. 2 games with over 55 total yards. You mentioned this Titans defense, Jay. They've given up 1 touchdown to an opposing running back this entire year. One touchdown. I mean, that's
Chiefs gave up on the run. Gave up on it.
No, I mean, that's what you have to hope for with Melvin Gordon is that he falls into the end zone. But they have Chase Edmonds there. They have Latavius Murray. Candidly, I think Latavius Murray's been the better running back since he got to Denver. It's certainly, you're looking at a 3-headed monster. When they get in the goal, when they get in close, it's kind of a coin flip whether they use Gordon or Murray. And so you think about Tennessee, who over the last 4 weeks is allowing 37 rushing yards per game to opposing running backs. That is best in the NFL. They're the #1 rushing defense in the NFL over the last month. And so in a low-scoring game, as you mentioned, the over-under is 36.
36, yeah.
Do you want a part of a 3-headed monster, in a low-scoring game? Like, no I want no part. Like, Dulcich is interesting to me, but other than that, I want no part of the Broncos offense in this one.
Yep, I'm with you there.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.